Hey guys, it's Kussi. The Affliction Warlock is easily the least desired spec at the current patch, leading to even having less playtime than me when I was a child in timeout. According to the absolute reliable internet, the least played specialization in this current season is indeed the dot spreading Warlock that often gets taken as an unloved child of a Shadow Priest and a plague spreading bat from China. Now you're rightfully thinking, Kussi, haven't you suffered enough already? And you're right. I mean, I meant Survival Hunter for God's sakes, and that thing was only viable one patch back in Shadowlands. Paired with the latest Zero to Hero challenge, where my fate was decided by the wheel, giving me a spec that was considered
swamp ass.
But I wanted to challenge myself with a real class, not just a 3-button rotator like Demon Hunter or Fury Warrior. We play a role that actually needs brain to perform proper. And not only that, it will also be the spec with easily the most insane button bloat this game has ever seen. I mean, you got like 25 dots to keep up on everything just to even contest with other people. And in all honesty, besides being a cookie vendor machine with a portable gathering stone in its pockets, what do we even know about Warlocks? I mean, surely we all just seen those imp-eating Demologs so far, and I even thought that Warlock only has 2 specs. But today, we embark on a journey to put this lost child on the map. Hailing from the anus of Tirisfal, this legend started his career to become him. Girth Cannon. And to become him, one has to master the 9-button rotation of this fever dream cosplaying as a Warlock specialization. Now to start us off, let's talk rules for this challenge. First and foremost, no friend list abuse. Considering the average WoW gamer doesn't have friends, it's only fitting. Secondly, only my own gold income from doing dailies or weeklies, as well as some call to arms, which pops up so rare, some say it's even less common than a Raid Shadow Legends download. Third rule, this journey will be finished when achieving Keystone Hero, meaning 2500 rating in Mythic Plus, as well as timing a plus 20 key. Also, it goes without saying, this character is not bound to any Raider IO score, so no one can see that I already timed one of those big boy keys in this season. One thing though I will do differently is that I will stay in this guild in order to potentially snipe a normal run if they even do something remotely close to a social run. But this surely doesn't come to anybody's surprise, because I always encourage you to go look for guilds in order to enjoy the game a lot more. Now, before we start with our prep work to ensure our first key will be somewhat successful, I want to clarify something for you. I got absolutely no idea how to play this shit. I leveled as a Demolog, and I think this character was even the very first character I leveled back when Dragonflight came out. So, if you see me messing up, it's for entertainment purposes and totally not because I got confused. Now that we got this out of the way, let's start this puppy. To give you a quick time check, I started to record this on Monday, which means we still got some time to do the entire quest chain in the Emerald Dream, as well as the weekly events like Super Bloom, just so we can eventually do LFR once we reach an item level of 424. After that, we also still have a juiced up weekly event going, which rewards us with an heroic raid item just for blasting through Ruby Life Boost 4 times. And because you now get dungeon slots in your vault for clearing Mythic 02, this means we should have pretty much 5 available slots in our first vault before even doing a key. Our boy, Girth Cannon, is efficient as hell, not wasting time at all. Now, because the question itself is rather boring and doesn't really involve any challenges, we just blasted through it. But why do we do this quest chain, you might think? Good question. The last part of it is a quest that rewards us with an enchanted worm streaming quest that will come in handy once we get our first items crafted later on. Now, the world boss apparently is an undead hating racist, considering it didn't drop any loot for us. So I went over to the Super Bloom event in order to catch some free 441 item real quick. Haste verse ring? Easy. The weekly rep quest rewarded us with some neat bracers that have semi-good stats, but it's still a lot more than 415, so I won't complain as much on that one. With that, we received an item level of 424, which allowed me to enter LFR. Now, not only did I never kill anything in this raid higher than the actual LFR before, I never played as a range either, which will make some bosses seem like an absolute different encounter, I'm sure. And since I usually just follow AFK those while swiping right on Tinder on the second screen, this time I was trying, like for real. I imported a talent string that apparently is the default raid talent build, and I really, and I mean really tried. But man, this shit is hard. I mean, just the fact that you don't have a proper rotation and more of a checklist that you need to constantly recheck is such a different vibe to play a DPS class. Even when I did my research on classes and plus 20 keys, I barely found any footage to just get at least a glimpse of what's possible for Affliction. Fair enough, I guess. Demolog's just too strong right now. Now, after finishing every LFR wing, Besides the final one, since this wasn't available at this week yet, this is what I've gotten. A hat, which we can turn into tier set, and we like that. An actual tier set for our chest slot, we like that even more. And some legs that I actually thought was a cloak from the icon, which we can turn into a set as well. Meaning we already got 3 out of 4 set pieces on the first week right away. I like those odds. Next thing to do before reset was to finish out those 4 Ruby Life Pool runs. Why 4 times instead of just doing other Mythic Zeros? Well, it's the fastest way surely, and because I'm on a very tight schedule to actually play the game currently. I really hope you guys got lucky with this chest too. Since if you watched my latest series on the Guardian Druid, which I will link in the top right corner in case you might want to check it out, Blizzard gave me the shaft on that one. But considering this is a new and fresh character, at least anything is an upgrade, so I at least got that insurance. And holy shit, is this Abyss Ring? Didn't expect that, but now I'm certain Blizzard finally made this game great again. So this was our last duty before the reset, and thus we got a vault coming up tomorrow. Now, before opening the vault, I did LFR again. This time the entire thing, including the last swing, which didn't give me anything. Like for real, not a single item. Fix your game, Blizzard. Yet I was hyped, because like I mentioned earlier, I got into a place where there are 3 raid slots and 2 dungeon slots waiting for me to make the hardest decision ever since I chose my first Pokemon starter back in the OG game. Squirtle all day, by the way. And for all of you caster mains out there who are still farming this one item, and you know what I mean, this is a trigger warning for you. Now, I know. How undeserving. This asshole got the cheek clapper staff from Dawn, but hear me out. There's also set hands, which would be our 4th potential T-set item after converting our legs. Also, there's this really neat trinket that lines up perfectly with our 2-minute cooldown to give us some mad boost in intellect. So this one wasn't too easy to choose from. Raid bots, however, would have given me a better option to sim all of those items and make a proper decision. Yet I made my mind up without any external help, and here's my thought process. Even though this trinket is really good, I felt like the chances of maybe getting this one in some other LFR run were a bit higher than getting the staff again. The tier set hands quickly got dismissed, because in fact we got our 3rd charge to spend, meaning I could not only convert my legs later, but also another set of hands or shoulders along with it to make it a 4 set. And by this process of elimination, I opted for the weapon, which not only is a certified banger in terms of item level increase, but also comes with a full set of stats alongside a mad on use effect that will hit hard. And I mean hard, even though this is only 450. Nonetheless, what an absolute joke of a first vault, right? Christmas came early and I want you guys to bask in this moment because our vault will never look like this again. Now, with all the weekly Wednesday wank out of the way, let's do some keys, shall we? The first key of this season will be a +2 at Talazar, which surely won't see me shine. I mean, it is fortified after all, and the mobs will live a lot longer than on Tyrannical, yet on this key level, stuff just dies when you look at it for long enough. Needless to say, I wasn't even part of this dungeon. So while my party is doing this run, let's talk about the affixes of this week because, spoiler, we will see all of them in action this episode. Like I mentioned, it's fortified again, so trash hurts a lot more and lives longer. Alongside that, we have Entangling that triggers on +7 keys, which is easily the most annoying bullshit a ranged player without jump or displacements has to deal with. They also get joined by Bolstering on +14, which is a party pooper for keys, for the most part. It's totally fine to play on Tyrannical, but when Trash is already buffed by Fortified, 1 or 2 stacks of those can easily clap your cheeks so hard that even a Polish stripper would be like, damn. After this run ended, I quickly checked out my own key and what can I say? Round 2. Again, Trash just dies so quick, but on the boss, it seemed like I pressed the right buttons every now and then, which led to me blasting stuff, as long as we had Bloodlust running. Peaking over 150k on the final boss without Forset, only 435 item level, and I was pretty proud of that. Also, my very first dungeon item drop, which was a headpiece, which I won't use cause of T-set, so I gave it away. Guess that's karma for the staff still. Hopefully we can take this momentum even further. I thought pushing my own key would be the play, because technically we can handle higher keys for sure. So a +5 Everbloom it is. And here I got a tank who just really understands an Affliction heart. Pulling 10 extra flowers onto the first boss, making me look like $1,000,000 in front of the gang. Unfortunately, this was the only time I was able to shine, since I just got outclassed by everyone else. Still 3 chest, no item, but a plus 8 Galakrond's Fall. And here, well, because I made the bad decision of inviting a geared tank, this shit was over so fucking fast. Though I quickly realized that this dungeon hates ranged players, considering you have to move so damn much on trash, as well as on bosses. I hate this already. Because this was still no actual challenge, not necessarily because of me, we got a plus 11 key after 3 chests in this run. But before we attempt that one, we got some business on a trading post to attend to. You see, because gear matters a lot, I needed some upgrades, so those are the items I went for. An Alchemist Trinket for the clean haste stat stick, as well as the even better main stat proc, which maybe was a shit idea considering I already got myself a proc based trinket when I grabbed the Paracausal Fragment of Azenroth. And finally I went for the cloak. Now some of you say, why on earth would you get a cloak? Those things drop everywhere and surely one will be traded to you soon. Well yes, but no. Apparently running a cloak with this embellishment is the way to go. Don't ask me why, don't ask me how, but my big brothers Raider.io did it, so I copied that like a real bitch. With all those upgrades, we jumped to an item level of 445, which we then even pumped up to 449 when upgrading a handful of items with Flightstones. Not too bad for 3 days of playing, I'd say. I also stashed up on food, flasks, potions and weapon runes, as well as some enchants, which really burned my pockets to an amount of 11k gold. Shit's expensive these days, man. Anyways, after juicing it up, our new challenge awaits. Finally a key level where stuff was living long enough and I can actually do shit. 11 Blackroot Cold, my old friend dished out some flashbacks right away. But surely this will end better. And what can I tell you? I did do damage. But everyone else was doing more. Like, a lot. I think this paladin's gear was only 460, but apparently no one told him about it, since he was pumping damage like his life depends on it. I often caught myself being totally overwhelmed on what to do first when going for a new pack. Partly because I only copied some random Mythic Plus build from Icy Veins, meaning I didn't even read through anything at all. That's why you will see me often just neglecting the actual mechanic of the class and just press my AoE curse, Soul Rod and Seed. Don't be like me. If you actually copy a build, at least read the passives. However, occasionally I was able to press the right buttons even in trash encounters. That led me to jump the charts maybe once or twice this run. Gotta take the small dubs as long as I can. But now came my time to shine. Single target boss, Bloodlust. That's what we've been training for. Needless to say, with this GigaChat group, paired with the single target menace of the Girther, we easily 3-chested this bitch too, ending on a whooping 120k DPS. Oh wait, that's a tank. Well, no items and nothing to leech from, so we continue our way. Galakrond's Fall 14, which went a little bit like this.